Hi guys, spring is almost here. That means it's time to buy seeds. But what seeds do you buy? There's so many different words and terms and varieties and labels. It can all be very overwhelming to the new gardener or somebody who's never gone out and actually looked for seeds before. So today, hopefully, we can go through all these different terms and clarify what they mean and make you feel a little bit more confident in going out and trying to start your own garden and buying your own seeds. So often when you hear about seeds, you see labels such as heirloom and hybrid, and then you hear terms floating around like GMO and annual and perennial and all these different things, and it's just hard to understand which ones are the best ones to buy. And as a new gardener or somebody who's never grown anything before, you might be a little overwhelmed in what all this means, the varieties out there, and what is best for you and what you're planning to do with your garden. So today we're going to go through all these different seeds and terms and everything like that and try to define them and clarify them and give you a little more ammunition in your seed buying experience. So let's get started. So I went out in town and I looked for an example of each type of seed that you might run across on the market, or different labeling or terminology involved in seed buying. So let's just go through them. First, as you can see here, in the GMO spot, I couldn't find any. And that's because they aren't available to the general public. GMO seeds are patented, and they're very much treated like intellectual properties by the developer, just like Windows would be. And like Windows, you have to have a licensing agreement to grow a GMO product from the manufacturer. They're very controlled in who grows them, how much they can grow, how they can grow them, and when they can grow them. So, and it's very expensive, and it's just not something you're going to ever encounter going out and looking for seeds. So that's a concern that you can just get rid of right off the bat, at least as far as seed buying goes. So we can just get rid of that one. Heirloom seeds are a purebred variety. Their lineage stretches back sometimes centuries, and it's the same genetic structure of the plant from one seed to the next. So the parent plant will produce a seed that is genetically identical to its own plant. So if you're looking for seeds to save for the following year, to save some money, or just because you want to get into seed saving, the heirloom varieties are the ones you want to look for, because the seed that you get from the plant is going to be the same seed that you planted to grow that plant. They come in all kinds of different types. Just about any plant out there that you can grow comes in an heirloom variety. They sometimes run a little bit more expensive, but it's because you can continuously save those seeds and save yourself some money down the road. And they've been kind of proven themselves to be a very robust variety that has been able to grow and survive and continuously produce consistent quality throughout the centuries. So that's why they're sometimes desirable over other things. So heirlooms are good. They're not the best. They're just a good seed, and it's a good type of seed to look for if you're looking to start saving up your own seed bank or something like that. And it's also, this is the same seed that your grandparents, great-grandparents, or somebody like that would have been growing. So the next up would be hybrids. Now, a hybrid is a plant that has been kind of genetically modified from one season to the next. Now, it's not the same as GMO. It is technically a GMO because it has had its genetics modified, but not in the way that you'd traditionally think. It's typically produced through cross-pollination or grafting or some other natural form such as that. And they are bred between two different parent plants to produce an offspring that has desirable qualities, such as drought resistance or a certain color, or it will grow only so tall, or it will get bigger than the other one, or produce a fruit that's smaller than, just whatever quality they're looking to produce out of the offspring. So you have two different parents and it produces this plant. Now, the downside to hybrids is you can't save the seed, because that seed that you plant from the hybrid is not going to be the same as the seed you planted, because you don't have those two parent plants producing their genetics into the offspring. So these are a one and done, but there are a ton of really great hybrid varieties out there, and they come in all kinds of shapes, colors, whatever you need. If you live in a drought prone area, you can find seeds that have been hybridized to grow really well in your area. Or if you live in an area that has a very short season, there are ones that are developed to mature faster than other plants would, so you can grow more food in a shorter amount of time. So if you're in a difficult growing zone, hybrids might be your best bet to go. So look up what seeds would grow best in your area, what seeds have been developed for your area. And a lot of times retailers, not every time, but a lot of times retailers will stock seeds that only grow well in that area. So if you're finding a lot of hybrids up in your local Home Depot or whatever, it's typically because those are the ones that produce well in your climate. So hybrids are, and a good healthy mix of heirloom and hybrids, it's good. You can really maximize your output and the quality of food that you're growing in your garden, especially if you're limited in space and limited in time. So then we have organic, and you can find hybrid and heirloom seeds in organic form. And an organic seed just means the parent plant has been grown organically that produced the seed. Now, is there a difference between an organic seed and an inorganic seed? Is the plant that it's going to grow going to be any different than, say, a plant that was grown with Miracle-Gro the year before, and now you've saved the seed and you're going to grow it organically? Is it going to work? Are you going to be able to grow it organically? Yes, you can. Any seed can be grown organically. An organic seed just means the parent plant was grown with organic methods. There is some research out there that shows that an organic seed, it might be genetically prone to uptake organic amendments a little bit more efficiently than a non-organic seed, but I think the data is just not quite 100% on that. And I haven't found any difference between an organic seed and a regular seed. A seed is a seed, as far as I've found. So it just depends on how you decide to grow your plants. So that's kind of one of those things. It's just that's more of a moral quandary. If you're really big into organic methods and you don't want to promote traditional farming techniques with chemicals and that sort of thing, you want to stick to all organic everything, then go for organic. They're going to run you more money than a regular seed will, so just keep that in mind. Then another thing you might run across are pelleted seeds, or they're also shown as sow easy or easy sow seeds. And those can be really handy for people who have trouble with the tiny little seeds. Like these are carrot seeds, and a carrot seed is a teeny, just a fleck. And it's really hard to get accurate spacing with those teeny tiny seeds and see where you're putting them and handle that small of a seed. So pelleted seeds have a coating on them. It's water soluble, and it just washes away, and the seed starts to germinate once it's ready. But it makes them a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to handle, and a little bit easier to see, because these are bright red, a little bit easier to see when you put them on the ground. So that's something to look for if you have trouble with the little seeds and you're trying to keep your rows spaced and your plant spaced nice and evenly, and you don't want to waste a lot of seeds. That's one way to go. Again, they're going to run you this about $1 more than a regular seed, but convenience factor, it's pretty nice especially for certain types of seeds. Then you run it across, if you're looking for doing flower seeds, there's annual and perennial. What is the difference between there? And a lot of times I will get those two confused together, but basically what it boils down to is annual, you will have to replant these annually. These only grow for one season, and then you have to collect the seed or get new seeds and then replant them so they'll grow the next year. They don't come back unless you live in a very moderate environment where the plant can kind of stay alive through the winter and then back in the spring come back. Very rare occasions will that happen, but usually you'll have, once it goes to seed, it's done to seed, it's done, it's lived its life, it's moved on to something else, and it's waiting for its seeds to continue its genetic line down the road. An annual means every year you'll have to replant annually. Perennial means it's gonna keep growing year after year after year after year. And perennial seeds sometimes will be more expensive than an annual seed because you're getting more plant for your buck. So perennial means it's coming back every year. So that's just something else to keep in mind. If you're planting like a flower garden and you want to see the same flowers year after year, you fill it up with perennials and then mix it with some annuals just to kind of mix things up, and you can swap out the annuals each year to give you some variety of colors from year to year or something like that, and then have the perennials there as your standbys, your real solid rocks of the garden. So I hope that helps clear some things up. So as you can see, it's not really as confusing as it seems. It just all depends on your preference and what you're planning to do. If you're just doing a small 4x4 plot of land and you're just going to have a few plants in there, it's your first go around, just find whatever appeals to you and whatever you can get your hands on that looks like something that you're going to want to grow. The type of seed you grow is really not going to be that big of a deal. It's more which plant are you growing, which variety of the plant you're growing. And in future videos, we're going to go through what plants you should grow. In fact, we're going to start a budget garden series where we're going to grow a garden start to finish from planting to preserving for $100. That's the whole season, start to finish, for $100. I'm going to dig a garden out there next to my plot for this series, and we're just going to pick out which varieties would go best in there for what we're planning to do. We're going to really maximize the space and try to get as much bang out of there as we can without going over $100 for the entire season. That's not just startup costs, that's the entire season, from planning to digging the garden to planting the plants to preserving the plants at the end, whether that be canning or freezing or whatever. And this start to finish, we're going to build a garden that will really build up your grocery stores, your food stores at the house, and cost as little money as possible to show you just how much you can do with very little money for gardening. So stick around for that. I'm really excited to get started on that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and we will see you guys soon.